Inha Hospital closes. Mass unemployment occurs. Inha Hospital announced a report of closure on July 10. On July 9, Park Seong-rim, director of Inha Hospital, visited the Sujeonggu Health Center and asked for cooperation in administrative procedures after the closure. However, the public health center expressed its intention to return the business closure report. The reason why Sujeonggu Health Center refused to report closure was the problem of keeping medical records of 2 million people at Inha Hospital. When the hospital closes, the patient's medical records will be transferred to the local public health center. Sujeonggu Health Center said that it needs more manpower and space to keep Inha Hospital's medical records, which cannot be handled by the health center. At that time, the population of Sujeonggu was 560,000. Mayor Lee Dae-yeop asked the head of Inha Hospital to report the closure of business after a meeting with Chairman Cho Yang-ho, but Mayor Lee's attempt to meet the chairman failed. Seongnam City seems to have attempted to negotiate administrative procedures, such as transferring the medical records of citizens held by Inha Hospital to a public health center. At the time, however, Inha Hospital remained unchanged at all until just before the scheduled date of reporting the closure. As announced, on July 10, he submitted a report of closure to the Sujeonggu Health Center and stopped treatment from that afternoon. In 2003, Inha Hospital had about 109 regular workers and 450 regular employees. It was unlikely that a hospital would appear to succeed in employment, and there was no countermeasure for them. After the closure, family, friends, and neighbors of Seongnam citizens face the risk of losing their jobs. Kim Kyung-jae, co-executive chairman of the PAN committee, recalled July 10, 2003 in her article in the 2013 Labor Society.
July 10, 2003 is an unforgettable day. Unfortunately, this is because the day I went to Inha Hospital closed. In 1989 I joined the company. The same year, I graduated from school and thought I would go to Hanjin Group for the rest of my life. So I paid my children's tuition from middle school to university, and my medical expenses were reduced because it was a hospital. I also exchanged jokes with union officials to build a senior citizen center and meet them. After retirement, Inha Hospital went out of business and more than 600 employees lost their jobs. Inpatients were transferred to other hospitals. Outpatient treatment was suspended, and service personnel, cleaning and security staff, and temporary workers were notified of dismissal. As of the end of July 2003, full-time workers were sent out in the form of voluntary retirement with consolation money, and 170 people who refused to retire were fired under the name of layoffs. Labor Society, No. 84 from the struggle to the establishment of a public hospital.
The simultaneous closure of two hospitals in 2003 is related to the history of urban development in Seongnam. On December 20, 2001, Seongnam-si received approval from the Ministry of Construction and Transportation for the Basic Plan for Urban Redevelopment in Seongnam-si, after the announcement of measures to ease altitude restrictions in flight safety zones. C. Dong-a, Ilbo 2002, January 13. Since January 2002, a notice has been issued and residents' visits and resident briefings have been held. Seongnam City's basic plan announced at the time was to redevelop 730,000 pyong of 20 districts in Sujeonggu and Jeongwon-gu, the old cities, and 39% of all households in the old city by 2016. The redevelopment plan is said to combine the redevelopment of apartments after completely demolishing the development planning area and the repair redevelopment method, in which local governments invest public funds to create urban infrastructure and induce redevelopment of landowners, expecting that there will be some areas without business feasibility. The government also reviewed the form in which landowners can take profits if residents decide to redevelop themselves. The main point of the announcement was to induce redevelopment in consultation with the city. An article titled "It is Possible to Build Apartments in Downtown Seongnam-gu" was published in the Central Daily, and an atmosphere was created that the Panjio area would also be developed. As height restrictions are lifted and redevelopment is possible, people with land will choose redevelopment methods to maximize profits, and the higher the proportion of private development to lead repair redevelopment, the less the city's burden will be. Since the announcement, There have been simultaneous national-local elections in June 2002, as the 4th Seongnam City Council was established, and Seongnam Mayor, Lee Dae-yeop, was re-elected with 54% of the vote. Conditions were set for urban development plans and others to continue with the former government. Recovery redevelopment is a passive development method that restores or improves the function and environment of the entire area, in the form of partial demolition, redevelopment, while preserving existing facilities in areas that are expected to deteriorate or have already deteriorated. Measures to restore include renovation of buildings, supplementation of infrastructure, installation of public facilities by the public sector, voluntary cleaning, and painting. Refer to the Korean National Culture Encyclopedia.